I guess I should get myself off of mute first, huh? All right, I'm ready. Next slide. So you've already heard from our other panelists that you must register before March 29th. That is to get the process going. That starts your registration process. But after March 29th comes March 30th through August 26th of 2021. And that's when the notice of registration will be sent out to you guys, letting you know whether or not your claim has been registered and whether it's properly logged in. Approved registrants will automatically receive a claim form. So it's like, I'm sure many of you have already had class action involvement where somebody send you a notice and say, AT&T has a lawsuit. If you want to opt out, if you want to be part of that lawsuit, you have to fill out a form. Same thing. So after you complete your registration form, then there'll be a claim form period where Archer will be reviewing it. And that's from March 30th to August 26th, 2021. Next slide. So again, the next steps following the registration period, Judge Levy will then hold a final fairness hearing on July the 12th that members of the public can come to attend. And after this hearing, the judge will decide whether she's going to grant or deny final approval of the settlement. So this time period right here, this is when people can come and file their objections. Judge Levy will hear the objections, and then after hearing all of that, take it in consideration and decide whether or not to give a final hearing, a final grant of approval for the settlement. Next slide.
Thank you, Cynthia. I think that's it. And we're going to turn it back over to Michael Pitt and to Ted to wrap us up. And for those who are watching the presentation tonight, all the Q&A is available in either the chat box or in the Q&A box. So just want to let everybody know about that.
Thank you, David. That was one of the questions that I've seen by some of the participants about whether or not the questions would be available, the video. And David, maybe you could tell us how people can rewatch this video if they so wish to get backup information and learn about certain things in more detail.
Yes, sir. We are recording this town hall this evening, and we will get it posted by tomorrow morning to the website. And we will also be capturing all of the questions and related answers that the attorneys have been responding to this evening. And that information will be posted as well.
Great. Thank you. Also, I want to address one question which came up quite often, which is very interesting. One of the question was that if at the time that the parent had a minor, now the minor is now no longer a minor, but is an adult, should that adult child now, if you will, fill out its own registration form? And the answer to that is yes, they should. If they are now an adult, they can go on site and register, since they are of what we call legally a majority, in other words, of an adult age. They can fill out the forms, and you, mom or dad, don't need to continue to worry about them filling it out. Although we as parents, as we know, always worry about our children, no matter what their age are or is. So, but they can fill that out. That's not a problem. We've tried to answer as many of the questions as we can in the chat room. But David, if you want to, if we want to take a few questions now, we can try and do that. If you want to ask them, I don't know how the best way. I'll leave it to you to do that.
Yes, I'm going to turn it over to Teresa Bigman real quick to kind of wrap it up, and then I will stop sharing the screen so I can then capture and see the questions and ask the attorneys those. So Teresa?
We just want you to know that we understand that this is a lot of information to process. So we have put all of the documents on our website. So you could read about details of the settlement by going to flintwaterjustice.com. We understand that there are a lot of people out there talking about many different topics. And we also want you to know that we, the attorneys, have not only been very involved in the process, we are into the details. So there are people who are not attorneys who are talking about these issues, and they are not knowledgeable of the entire process. And we want you to have the exact information that's going through the court system. So please look at the flintwaterjustice.com website And be sure to call to talk with one of the attorneys if you have questions. We want you to be real clear about all of this. Also, it's important for you to know that the interim class counsel team has worked very hard to ensure equity in the settlement terms and the process. We listen to the news. We hear what people are saying. And some people are saying that there's not equity. There is equity in this process. And we want you to know that. And we will continue to work hard for your best interest. Next slide, please. Before we go into the questions and answers, we want you to calendar another very important date to obtain more information, and that is February 25th at 6 p.m. That's when we will have the next town hall meeting. You don't have to wait until the town hall meeting to ask questions though. Feel free to call our number. It's here on the screen, 866-536-0717. And you could also contact us at info@flintwaterjustice.com. Thank you very much for your attention. And now we will have some questions and answers that David will pose.
David, before you get started, can I just raise this issue? Because there's a lot of questions I see also, which are excellent questions about testing, both bone testing and neuropsych testing. And let me tell everybody, both Mike and myself and many others on this call have been working diligently to assure that that testing for both bone lead testing and neuropsych testing is being made available for the entire Flint community to be tested, not just a few, but for all. And we have gone to great lengths to ensure that that will be done. In fact, we are on a multi-hour conversation today with doctors who will be doing that testing on the bone lead related issues, both in New York and working with their fellow peers at the University of Michigan to set all of that up. As soon as we have more information over the next few days, we hope to very soon have a program in place in Flint. We are hoping at the University of Michigan satellite campus there or some other location in Flint for the bone lead testing. We are also working daily on assuring that we do our best to get neuropsych testing done. So please be on the lookout for that information. Right now, the most important thing is to register. Once registration is done, we then have up until August to then get all of the claim forms and the backup information, including the bone testing and the neuropsych testing completed. So I know that was a lot of questions that were asked by people.
All right, so the first question, I know that this was posted at about 6:21 p.m., but I think it can be answered pretty quickly. Question is, can a claim be filed on behalf of parents that are deceased as of January and April of 2017?
The answer to that is yes, I would make a claim for that. We will do all we can to advocate for a recovery. Ultimately, it's up to the administrator that is reviewing all of this, but I think that in good faith, there is a claim there for you to make on behalf of your parents.
Thank you, sir. Next question. I filled out a retainer previously, and I just filled out my registration form. I'm not sure what attorney I should list, so should I just list Pitt, McGee, Palmer, Bonanini, and Rivers? Is this correct?
That would be fine. That would be fine. Just do that.
Thank you. Next question. The online system does not clearly indicate in any way that the form has been submitted. How do we get confirmation that our completed registration has been completed and received?
Leslie, can you answer that?
I can say that we're working on that. That's one of the hiccups that we want to make sure, if you have done your registration form and submitted it, we want to make sure that you know they got it and it's good. So keep watching the Flint Water Justice website. As soon as I have confirmation and we know for sure exactly what it will look like for your confirmation, we're going to post the information there.
Thank
Yes,
you,
and
Leslie.
we should add, David, that we are not managing that part of the process, but Leslie is working very closely with the company that's managing that part of the process.
Perfect, thank you. And kind of related to that, the form requires your social security number to be entered, but it doesn't hide it. I'm afraid this is not a secure form. How do we know that our information is going to be secure and protected?
Yes, I had this question also. The way I responded to it is that this is a court supervised and overseen process. All of the information in there is being held as best we can confidential. So we feel confident that this is all will be secured.
Also,
Thank
when
you,
you
sir.
sign up, it asks you for an email and a password. So as long as you're not giving your password out, don't do that. Keep your registration private, then there should be no disclosure.